Hey everybody, my name's Jake. I'm 16 years old. I grew up surrounded by love and support from my parents. Sounds idyllic, right? But it just so happened that I had to rescue my little sister from my own mum and dad. How did it even come to this? Listen up. My parents have always been very conservative, and you can even say snobbish people. They were also supporters of a very strict and evil upbringing. But I didn't realize this until my sister Cora was born. I never had any problems with my mother and father. To tell the truth, I've always been their fair-haired boy. My mum was absolutely overprotective. She doted on my every move, which was becoming more and more annoying over the years. So I thought I could finally breathe a sigh of relief when Cora appeared in our family. I hoped that now mum and dad would be too busy to track every minute of my life, but not so fast. My first hint was when I saw my father's reaction that he was having a daughter and not another son. He was so angry and disappointed. He rarely came up to Cora's crib and always got irritated when she cried. My mother wasn't that bad, but she was always tired and depressed. When Cora grew up and turned 9 years old, it became even worse. My parents were so unfair and strict with her that I had to stand up for her all the time. Concerning myself, it seemed that I was their only beacon of light, and they entrusted me with all their hopes and dreams. And the only thing I wanted to do was escape from that hellhole. And what a stroke of luck. I had a chance to go to a new prestigious school in another area. It was my goal for a long time, and I worked hard for it, but I could not get the thought out of my mind that I would have to leave my poor sister all alone with my mum and dad. Of course, my parents were so proud of me, but when Cora heard the news, she was stunned. I saw she was trying to hold back her tears and to smile. She said she was very happy for me. I couldn't bear it and told her, if you ask me, I will stay, but she wouldn't listen. My little Cora has a big heart. So I made the hard decision and left home. I made my sister promise me that she would call me every single day and tell me about everything. And to a point, she did it. I loved my new school and my new life, and Cora would listen to my funny stories every day. But whenever I asked her about herself, she was very brief. She would always say that she was fine and try to change the subject. However, over time, our conversations came to a halt. Cora found excuses not to talk to me every evening and just sent me short messages. But one day, there were no more messages. I called and texted her a million times, but there was no answer. I called my mum immediately and asked her what was going on, but she said that everything was okay. Cora was just being careless and broke her phone. But I had no doubt that it was not as simple as that, and my fears were confirmed. After a couple of days, I got a message from a strange number. It turned out that it was Cora's classmate. She was very worried because Cora hadn't been to school for over 2 weeks, and she wanted to know if she was okay. I was terrified. My mum didn't tell me that my sister was sick or something. Whatever was going on, I felt that I had to rush home as fast as I could. I didn't warn my parents that I was coming, so they were really surprised to see me at the front door the next morning. Mum looked very confused and nervous. I asked her about Cora and she said that she was at school. I told her that I was aware that she wasn't and headed to my sister's room. My mother tried to stop me and to chat me up, but I got to the door and I was shocked by what I saw there. The room was very clean, but all the furniture was gone. There were no toys, no bed, no writing table. There was a small mat on the floor and a small table with an empty bowl. And that was it. Cora wasn't there. I attacked my dad and demanded an explanation. But he stayed cool and said that Cora was nothing but trouble, and this was the only way to raise her. He said that he prevented her from going to school lately because she couldn't behave herself. She came home later than expected, and she had even secretly tried to use makeup. As a punishment, he stopped her from going to school for the time being until she understood how a decent girl should behave and what she should look like. I was completely speechless. I started running around the house and calling for my sister. My mum quietly said she was punished and sent to clean the shed. I thought she was kidding. They made a 9-year-old girl clean that rotten shed, which was actually an impossible task. I rushed there to find my poor sister scrubbing the floor. She looked exhausted and skinny. I bet starvation was another way of raising girls from my father's point of view. She was also dressed like a nun. She was wearing some old floor-length gown. I grabbed her and we ran away without looking back. We went to a cafe where I got her something to eat. I asked her a million times why she hadn't told me anything. She cried and confessed that our dad had been threatening her that if she told me, he would throw her out on the street or give her away to another family. She was afraid she would never see me again. And then he took her phone from her. It was too much. I realized that my parents had gone absolutely crazy, and I could not let them get away with this any longer. The best thing I could think of was to go to chorus school and talk to the principal. I just didn't have the heart to hand my parents over to the police myself. Saying the principal was shocked and frustrated doesn't even begin to describe what happened next. So she took matters into her own hands. Pursuant to the court's decision and my testimony, Cora and I were sent to live with a foster family until the day I get on my feet and I'm able to take care of my sister myself. I still can't piece together what happened and why. It was really painful for me from one perspective, because most of my life, I had a loving mother and father by my side. And then, I had to witness the evil they'd done. I wish I'd figured it out much earlier. But now I know that nobody will treat my sister like that ever again. I hope my parents will come to their senses one day and realize how wrong they were. What do you think about this? Do you support my decision to expose what my parents were doing? If you've also seen your parents doing something really bad, tell me what you've done to stop them in the comments. I would love if you shared your stories.